In China, online food ordering and delivery is big business. By July of 2020, almost half of the total Chinese netizen population had ordered food online. According to Statista, that's over 419 million people in China that have used online food delivery in 2020, accounting for around $51.5 billion worth of revenue, with that number expected to rise to $57 billion in 2021, more than the second and third largest global markets combined. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, the food service industry suffered a dip in business as dining in became restricted, restaurants were unable to open at all, and customers were becoming wary of dining out. Restaurants leaned more on delivery orders in order to bring in revenue. In China, that most likely meant turning to delivery platforms like Meituan or Ele.me, the duo that dominates the country's delivery sector with a 94% market share. The way it works is restaurants listed on these platforms handle the meals, while the platform handles ordering and delivery. For each order, restaurants pay a commission. Restaurants can also pay extra for preferential listings on the platforms or agree to offering discounts. And because of the discounts, despite the added cost of packaging and delivery, it can even be cheaper than dining in. The convenience and affordability of food delivery means there's much demand for it. Customers can pick out what they want from smartphone apps and have the orders delivered to their doorstep, usually within an hour. The pandemic really stressed the importance of delivery, as it also included bringing groceries and essential products to consumers. But for all the benefits brought by delivery platforms, it comes at a cost to restaurants, workers, and even customers. Commissions became a point of contention between delivery platforms and restaurants. Restaurants have been adversely affected when commissions stayed basically the same despite facing losses in revenue from losing dine-in business, while still operating with low profit margins. Some restaurants have barely managed to pay these commission fees while operating at a loss. Although Meituan waived commissions for restaurants in Wuhan in February of 2020 during the height of the pandemic, while Ele.me also announced proposed cuts or waiving of commission fees for a limited period, many restaurants have still demanded for better policies. Restaurant associations from other parts of China have called for an overall commission reduction and accused platforms like Meituan of charging higher commissions of up to 26% if restaurants don't enter into exclusivity agreements. Meituan responded to demands by offering the return of a 3 to 6% commission fee for merchants deemed to be good quality, as well as waiving monopoly clauses for selected restaurants. Some restaurants have turned to various other ways to take back some income. These include encouraging customers to order directly from the restaurant. Although food ordering platforms help with exposure, WeChat has also been used in self-promotion, and some restaurants have even started turning to handling deliveries themselves, though it's hard to compete with the armies of delivery personnel from Meituan and Ele.me. Complaints from restaurants against platforms aren't limited to the Chinese market either. In the US, platforms like Uber Eats, Postmates, and DoorDash initially refused to lower commission fees during the pandemic. Additionally, platforms have even been known to list restaurants without their permission. While white-collar workers made up the majority of food delivery customers in China, many delivery drivers in China include migrant workers without college degrees. And despite serving a critical frontline role during the COVID-19 pandemic, they're easily replaceable. Delivery drivers in China commonly make less than $1 per delivery, with reductions in pay if they're late, even if they're held up and waiting for meals to be prepared. In big cities like Beijing, it's quite common to see delivery drivers zipping around traffic and on sidewalks on their electric scooters. Delivery platform apps have garnered controversy for generating unrealistic routes, including ones that go against traffic, an unsafe practice that has resulted in traffic accidents. In some cases, drivers aren't even directly employed by Meituan or Ele.me, but through subcontractors, some of which allegedly withhold pay. Notably, an Ele.me driver set himself on fire to protest unpaid wages. The amount under dispute, roughly $620. Around the world, delivery workers are often classified as independent contractors, denying them benefits like insurance. And if they don't take on orders, they're not getting paid. In the US, this has meant that workers are faced with the dilemma of continuing to deliver meals while potentially being sick, not something you want in the middle of a pandemic. Customers possibly stand to benefit most from online food delivery, but there are still instances where they're left in the dark. In an alleged practice called 杀熟, which translates to price discrimination against regulars, food ordering platforms allegedly attract new users with enticing low prices. But once they become regular customers, or even sign up for paid memberships, they end up being charged more per order. Meituan has refuted these allegations from customers, though some of their practices remain opaque. Platforms need to make money, but so do the restaurants. If the restaurants are barely staying afloat, or even operating at a loss, skimping on ingredients could be a last-ditch measure to survive, which would adversely affect the customer experience and restaurant reputation. In the US, customers wanting to order directly from the restaurants to support them have even been deceived by Grubhub's practice of creating websites for the restaurants, regardless of whether or not they asked for them. The phone numbers listed on the pages don't list the restaurant's real numbers, but rather a redirect number that charges restaurants a service fee for calls. Sometimes, customers aren't even ordering from who they think they are. Imposter restaurants have even been listed on Grubhub. And in some cases, customers wanting to tip their delivery drivers found out that their tips went to the platform instead. In the example of DoorDash, customer tips were used to subsidize wages instead of going directly to the delivery drivers as a bonus on top of their base earnings. Although they've since updated their policy where delivery personnel now receive 100% of customer tips, it's unclear if that has had any wider effect on wages for the drivers. Online food delivery is only expected to grow. According to Statista, it's estimated the global market will reach around $154.3 billion by 2023, up from $111.3 billion in 2020. So can online food delivery platforms turn a profit without hurting the very restaurants that drive its business? Can the plight of the workers improve? Legislation and lawsuits aiming to address such issues have been put forward around the world. But will it be enough for improvements to be made for the better of all?